Hello my friends, how are you today? Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Sunny and I love to do DIYs. I love to go thrifting, and today is a very fun sewing video. I have been very lucky because I have been selected to test a pattern. I'm testing this pattern. It's called the Ruby Vest from Sydney Graham. I'm a follower of Sydney Graham and I'm so happy that I was selected for this pattern. When I saw the application, I was just like, yeah, I'm doing this, and I got super lucky to be selected to be doing this Ruby vest. I printed the pattern. This, as I was telling you, is a vest. So there are 4 different ways to do the vest. You can do it with ties or with buttons, and you can do it like high neck or a V-neck. And what I have selected was the high neck with the ties. This is what I think that I'm going to be attempting today. I've got the perfect thrifted fabric that I want to use for this project. This stripe fabric that you can see, it's not actually like red, like the cardigan that I'm wearing is red. So this one is more like a cherry kind of hue. It has white also. Then for the other fabric, it's going to be this light blue. I think used to be an old blanket, looks like, I don't know. And I think this is just somebody bought a lot of fabric to do a project and it's just like a remnants, but there's actually a lot, so lucky for me. I'm going to post here the inspiration or the mood board that I created for this project. Here right now we're in summer and you would be thinking like, why would you do a vest for summer? Because I'm actually going to be quilting it. And as I was telling the girls at the group that we have like to comment on the vest, it's summer here, but it actually gets a bit chilly in nights, and also during some days it's also a bit chilly. So I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it like in a fun and colorful color so I could wear it all year long. I went to the coffee shop. I went to Office Works the other day to have everything printed. I printed it in a A0. Do you say A0 size? Yeah, like the big size. And what I did was trace the size that I'm going to be doing. I opted to do size 10. I was in between size 8 or 10, but you know, you guys, I like to wear things like more oversized on me, so I finally decided for size 10. And this time I did the things properly, and like my mom and my grandma taught me. So instead of cutting into the pattern like just directly, what I did was trace the size that I needed. So here you have in just normal tissue paper, I traced the two sides that I need, yeah, the front size and the back size. So I traced it like mirrored, so I traced one like this and one on the other side, and the back one you just trace it in the fold. And as this Ruby vest is going to be reversible, that's just amazing. When you have something reversible, it's like actually you have 2 pieces, not one. So it's going to be reversible, and I opted for the blue to be the main color. I chose the blue. Actually, I don't know why. I thought it was easier like to find a bias banding that will match it. In the instructions we have how to make a bias banding, but I thought it will save me time if I bought actually some bias banding already made. So I bought some light blue bias banding that matches perfectly one of the colors of the vest. I also bought blue thread matching with everything. The blue is going to be like my main color, and the secondary color will be the stripe fabric. I also bought the baiting or wadding, I don't really know how to pronounce it, wadding, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's here. This is a medium weight, if I'm not wrong. I bought it 100% bamboo, so I think it will be fine to wear it the whole year long because bamboo is quite breathable. On the other hand, the other ones that were on the store were polyester, so I wasn't very convinced to buy those because I want to wear it all year round. So what I did with this, I said in the instructions that it shrinked a little bit when you first wash it. I actually washed it yesterday. I was very lucky because yesterday, well, today, it's is 30 degrees, so it dried up very quickly and just in time for me to attempt this project today. So you guys, we're going to start with tracing the pattern pieces into the fabrics and cutting them, and then we can start to sew, our favorite part. Really excited to bring you along to my first ever testing pattern. Alright, so the first step is to put the two front pieces with the back. I have two sides, put them facing right sides together and sew the side seam. These two pieces, and I'll do the same for the main fabric and also the striped fabric. Now I've got the main part of the vest already attached together, so the two front sides with the back in the two different fabrics. I did a little press in the seams, and yeah, I got my fingers a bit burned. Don't use a steamer, use a proper iron, but my iron is broken. I tried to fix it, I tried to clean it, everything, but I think it's dead. So I only had the steamer to use for this project, and I think I'm going to ask for an iron for my Santa present. Anyways, my fingers are a bit it's okay. Next part is the quilting, and first I need to mark in my fabric. I need to mark the lines that I'm going to be sewing so that the quilting stays in place. Another thing that I don't have is a proper ruler or a proper like cutting board, which I'm also going to put it in my Christmas list. Instead of a ruler, I've got this piece of cardboard that I managed to save from a mailer box, so recycling. I'm going to be marking them with it's a washable marker. It says here like a Hera marker, which I don't know what it is. I will have to look it up. Oh, okay, the Hera marker, I know what it is. It's a marker that you just do the line and it stays in the fabric. So I think this one you will use it when you have already the quilt, I think. I'm not sure. Well, this fabric is very thin and I don't think the Hera marker would actually work. Maybe I'll buy it for like future projects. If this one results okay, I'm going to be making more rubby vests. I'm just going to proceed to mark the lines. It says here 1.25 inches apart or 3.2 centimeters. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Okay, you guys, I had to put all of my lights. Hope the lighting is okay because it's so dark outside. Like, it's super dark. It's one of those stormy thunderstorm summer days. It's like 35 degrees, I think it is. I was pinning the batting to the principal fabric. I ran out of needles. I've researched and I watched a few videos on YouTube, and it says that the more you pin the fabric to the batting, the better, before you sew it on the sewing machine, so it doesn't move along. So we have here this first part of the batting. It's all super complete with a lot of needles, but then we have this part that I ran out of needles. I did like the two sides, okay, more or less, but this part doesn't have needles. So what I will be doing right now is to cut the batting. It says in the instructions to actually don't cut it like right to the edge, so leave a bit of space just in case it moves a little bit, and then we will cut it afterwards. But what I'm going to do now is to cut the batting and put the other fabric, the right side out underneath this, and I will put the pins again, like try to get the two fabrics, and then I'll go to the sewing machine. I think I'm losing a lot of time with this, but I want to do it perfect, and I'm determined to actually improve my sewing skills this coming year, and I'm starting right now. Like, I want to do things more neat and not like rush over everything as I always do. So yeah, I guess I started with this project. Okay, I've decided that I know what I want to do. So because I don't have, sorry, I haven't had lunch today. I started the project late, actually. I should have started earlier, but I was just like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like. So it's actually 3 p.m. Well, 18, yeah, past already. Christmas cover. It's past already a little bit and I haven't had lunch, but I had a big breakfast. Yeah, that's why I didn't start earlier today, because I was having breakfast. So you guys, we need to do the quilting, and because I don't have enough pins, what I did was paint very, very good the first face. And I tell you, I'm going to do it by phases. So phase 1, let me get this. It's super pinned, so nothing moves. I really want to do it good. I'm going to start following the lines here that I made earlier. And then when that's done, I put it again on the table, pin the following, and so on. That's how I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be the best way for me. Yeah, it's going to work better for me. All right. This quilting took forever. I have to say, yeah, it's quite a job, but it's so satisfying. Like just following straight lines with the sewing machine is so relaxing. So I just finished all the batting, and now what I'm going to do is to cut the excess of the batting. Then I will have to do a seam allowance. No, I will have to do a stitching. Okay, it says base stitch around the entire perimeter with a very small seam allowance, because then we will be putting the bias banding and we don't want the stitching to be showing outside the bias banding. So we need to do it like quite almost to the edge of it. Alright, you guys, I think for today I'm almost done. I'm just gonna close the sandwich, as they call it, so around like with a very small seam allowance, and so all around the perimeter of the vest, and then I'll see you back tomorrow like with new eyes. Well, good morning, you guys. We are back. I'm here with my coffee. It's a new day. Hopefully today the lighting is better. I'm wearing the same t-shirt as yesterday, but it didn't go out anywhere, so it's clean, and I love my fruit salad cardigan. So we're going to continue with our project. Yesterday I only finished the base stitching all along the perimeter of the vest. The next step is to join the shoulder seams, and the first thing I'm going to do is to stitch along the shoulder seam, and then we'll do the bias banding. And this is where I'm going to be, well, not twitching, but yeah, I'm going to explain to you. It says that you have to put the two right sides. So my right sides, as you know, is the blue fabric, so you have to put the right sides together, so the back piece and the two front pieces facing each other, so you will have the lining piece per se on the outside part. And then we'll do here the stitching, and this is the stitch that we'll have to hide with the bias banding. In the instructions it says to hide the seam with the bias banding of the same fabric as this one here, so it will be the striped fabric. But I thought it would be cool to use the banding that I've got, that I'm going to use in the whole vest, to incorporate this color here. Instead of doing it with the same one, do it with the blue. And you guys may think, why don't you do it the other way around and put the two sides of the stripe together and then like this? I don't know why. I want to do it like that. I want the contrasting also here, so it will be contrasting here in the shoulders and all around the armholes and all around the vest. I don't know, I thought it would be cute. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to pin the shoulder seams that I have already pinned on the main fabric, and I'm going to be stitching this with the sewing machine. And then I'm going to get the bias banding and hide these seams. I'm going to be sewing the bias banding to the first fabric, that is the lining fabric, and then we're going to be cutting it so it's not so bulky. I've been checking the pattern, and the way it says to put the bias banding, I don't think it's going to work, or yeah, I don't know if I can do it correctly, so the result is going to be neat enough. So I'm just neat or clean, you know. So what I did was to steam, because I don't have an iron, so I steam the seams like in a flat way, like I opened them. Well, you can see, I will show you how I did it. There's a huge, I don't know if it's a spider, but I was just checking if it was in the outer part of my window, and it is. Sorry, not that big, but so scared of. It looks like a spider, but it's outside. I just did this, and what I'm going to do is just cut a little bit so it's not so thick. So I only going to cut it just lightly. What I have done with other projects too is to put the bias banding in a flat way and just stitch the two edges. Alright, so we already got one shoulder, and I'm going to show you how I did it in the other shoulder. So we just get the piece of the bias banding that we're going to use. I just got a little bit more just in case. And here you see, we just cut it, and we don't need to worry about the raw edges because then we're going to be putting the bias banding here. So what I do is I take the center of the bias banding, and then I put it in the center of the seam here. So this is how I make sure that the bias banding is just right in the center. So because this is just like a small part, I only put 2 needles. I think it's enough. That's it, ready for the sewing machine. To put the bias banding in the armholes, what we have to do is take the bias banding, pull one of the edges, put the right sides together, so the right side from the vest and the right side from the binding. You put it just over the edge and you pin everything. So you pin all the way around. What I like to do is like the first pin that you put, I just fold it and then I pin it. This is so when we have to fold it again to finish it, you won't have any raw edges. So the raw edges will be on the inside of the bias. After pinning all that, we do a row of stitching in the sewing machine. Once you have the first part of the bias banding attached, what we do is fold it, and because it's cut to the bias, it will actually take the form of the armhole. I have to say that the bias banding that I bought is not the best one, and the folding is not really so obvious as with other pieces that I've made, but it's okay. It works for the project. After folding it, we just have to do a stitching very close to the edge from the front side of the vest. So we have a stitching very close here to the side. And make sure you're stitching also the other side of the vest. I try to put the ties together, but this is like, it's not happening. My sewing machine always hates ties. I don't know if there is another way to sew them. My machine swallows the fabric and I cannot make it work. So what I did was cut 4 rectangles from my main fabric. What I'm going to do is to sew the 2 edges here, so one short edge and one long edge, and then I'll trim it a little bit and I'll turn it around. That will be my ties, because no, it's not happening with the bias banding. I've just finished the ties and I've put them here in this side. It doesn't really matter which side of the vest you put it. I just decided to put it here because I had already the vest in this side. So I just pinned the 4 ties in the marks that I had from the pattern. And now what I'm going to do is the last step, that is to put the bias banding all around the vest. Hello friends, it's a new day. Yesterday I got super sick. I'm still like a bit weak, but I put on some makeup so I could finish this video. As I told you yesterday, I was about to do the bias banding all around the vest. So I put the ties and I did the bias, the first part of the bias banding, and now I just need to fold it and do the other side of the bias banding. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Ruby vest is done! So happy with this one. I know I'm going to be wearing it a lot, and although I quilted it, it's a pretty soft batting. It's not going to be like super warm. I will show you here a video wearing both sides of the vest because it's a reversible vest. As I was telling you at the beginning of my video, it's so great because you have 2-in-1. There's nothing better than that. And how I'm dressed today, I think it looks so cute. Really, really cute. Things about this project. I think it's a very beginner-friendly project. I mean, beginner, confident beginner, I would say, not beginner. I had some issues, but not with the pattern. The pattern was super easy to follow, really straightforward. The problem that I had was with the fabric that I chose to make this project. I didn't realize that this fabric has a bit of a stretch, so I wouldn't recommend doing a project like this with a stretchy fabric. I would recommend maybe cotton with no stretch, a linen, something without elastic. I realized when I was already cutting the fabric and I was like, I'll go with it. So I just went with it, but it's not actually the best one. And the other issue that I had is with the bias banding. I bought a bias banding like the first one that I found, because the day that I went to buy my supplies, and by supplies I mean the bias banding and the thread, because the fabric was thrifted. I think it was 35 degrees. I was just not going to go to my normal craft store, so I went to another one that they have less variety, so they only had these bias banding in blue, and I don't think it's the best quality one, so I had a few issues when sewing it. For example, I couldn't do the ties because my machine, I love you, she's just here, I love her, but she won't sew any bias banding ties, like it would just not work. So I did the ties with the fabric that, I mean, it worked, but it wasn't what it said in the pattern, but I had to find a solution for that. Really happy with the baby blue fabric that I have some left, so I don't know if maybe I'll do, instead of doing reversible, or maybe with another fabric, or maybe I'll do just a vest with this fabric but in one of the other shapes that we have in the pattern. I want to say again thank you to Sydney and Jessica for giving me the opportunity to test this pattern, and I know I'm going to be making more vests with this pattern. I'm super excited. Super easy to follow, great project. You can have infinite combinations. As always, I always encourage you to go to your thrift stores and get there your fabrics. There's so many fabrics just lying there, or if there are no fabrics, maybe there are bed sheets, like I think this blue one was a bed sheet. Just look at your local op shops or thrift stores to see what you can find. And the fabrics, instead of lying there or maybe ending in landfill, you can get to wear them and cherish them. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you have liked this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I'm always really thankful for all of you that watch my videos. And yeah, you just have a lovely day, and see you in my next video. Bye!